Bowman single barrel is rumored to be Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1 distillate, which is then sent over to Virginia, redistilled, turning this into a triple distilled product where they're not necessarily distilling it, but they're getting it from Buffalo Trace and then redistilling it, so they're kind of distilling it, but kind of not. And honestly, it sounds like it's just Sazerac's way of trying to make another Blantons. Welcome back to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. I'm Steven, and today we are running a review of John J. Bowman Single Barrel. But before we do that, if you haven't done this already, please do me a favor, like and subscribe. I appreciate your guys' support, but let's go ahead and get back to that review, starting off with what the heck even is this bottle? So this is another brand that is owned by Sazerac. They are sourcing their distillate, then redistilling it in Virginia. This is basically the only Virginia whiskey I've ever had, so I'm kind of interested to try it out. It is rumored to be sourced from Buffalo Trace, which, it being owned by Sazerac, that makes sense. It is not confirmed by any reports that I've been able to locate though, so that is pretty interesting. It is 50% alcohol by volume, and it is non-age stated, and it's a single barrel. So variants do change, keep that in mind. They don't have any lot numbers or anything that I can find on the bottle, so your bottle may differ from mine, but let's go ahead and pour some of this and let's get into this bottle. Alright, so now that we got this poured, let's go ahead and get on the nose. Ooh, I'm getting some nice like apples, a nice little bit of oak, some caramel, some vanillas, a little like a walnut nuttiness almost. Or actually, maybe more of like a pecan. Green apples for days though. It's very appley. And there is surprisingly a little bit of like oak on this nose, which for how light this is, I'm a little surprised that I'm picking up a substantial amount of oak, but it is there. Little bit of like a chocolate, like a cocoa powder almost. Caramel. Almost kind of like a not super sweet Twix bar, more or less. Kind of like bready, chocolatey caramel, but not like overly sweet where it's like candied. Overall, a very nice nose, a little like bitey on that oak bit, but overall pretty good. Let's go ahead and get on the palate. So on my initial sip, I'm getting a nice little bit of like caramels, vanillas, a slightly metallic-y note, which I typically will get on like Irish whiskeys that are very, very young. So it's a little kind of like grainy, metallic-y almost, which is kind of interesting, given this is my first whiskey of the day, so it could just be acclimating, you know, first sip, whatever. But yeah, overall really nice, just sweet, a little bit of like toffee, caramel, vanilla. The oak is toned back a little bit, so it's not super duper aggressive, and the apples kind of turned more from like a green apple into like a red apple. But it's very middle ground. It's not like overly fruity, not overly like sweet, not overly oaky or like bready or anything like that. It's just kind of threading this nice little like even needle of just like smooth flavor profile, but it's not very complex either. Let's go ahead and get on a second pour. You know, I'm getting a second pour. It's just like this sweet cocoa powder, creamy vanilla, not very fruity though. I'm very, very surprised. I expected to get a lot more fruit off of this bottle, but it's just very middle road, just sweet vanillas, but it is bringing in this nice amount of kind of like chocolatey cocoa type flavor that I'm actually really, really digging. Let's go ahead and get one more sip on this. On that last sip there, I'm getting a nice like caramel covered apple. Very, very sweet. Not drying at all, but again, like those chocolatey notes. A little oaky, but not very, it's not astringent in any which way. It's just kind of like easy, simple, middle of the road bourbon type flavors with a nice little chocolate note on it. The chocolate note is kind of, I'm digging the chocolate note. Finish overall, I would say it's moderate. It's not bad. It lingers a little bit, but it doesn't linger for too long. And the viscosity is, again, moderate, just like the finish. It's very like in between, like nothing insane, but also at that same point, nothing that's super disappointing either. I just think it's a really good bottle. But that leads me to my next thing. Obviously, I've let you guys know. First sip, neck pour of this bottle. Literally just opened this up for the review. I like this bottle. The bourbon inside of it does taste good. That grainy note that I was getting initially on the first sip kind of went away. So it's just kind of this nice chill bottle of bourbon. But my issue with giving this a grade is $50. $50 for this bottle, and it's not super complex. It's simple, easy. It's very crushable. It's easy to get after, super approachable, great tasting, but is it worth $50? And that's kind of where I'm like, I don't think it's worth $50. If I could find this for say like $35, $40, I'd be a lot happier. $35, $40, I'd give it an A all the way. $50, and this is a little bit harder to find because it's starting to gain some of that like Buffalo Trace-esque notoriety because it is rumored to be, you know, from them and then redistilled and whatnot. So with it gaining that Buffalo Trace notoriety and it not being super easy to find, $50, I'm gonna lean in, give it a B-. I think it's good. I think it's easy. It's just not very complex, and it's nothing worth writing home about. I'm not blown away. I'm not super, whoa, that was amazing. It was just a middle of the road bourbon, which, you know, if that's your flavor profile you like, because I typically lean on a little bit spicier. I want some more character, a little bit more pizzazz in my bourbons. This just isn't doing it for me, which, you know, that's kind of what a lot of the Buffalo Trace products do for me, except for the higher proof stuff, because that stuff's just great. But overall, Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans as a whole gives John J. Bowman Single Barrel 100 proofer for $50 a B-. It's good. It's just not blowing my socks off, and for $50, I want to be able to get something like a can with like 1920 where I'm like, wow, that's just great. And it's good, but it's not great. So that's going to be a wrap for this video. Please do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about this video, and let me know what you thought about this bottle. I'm curious, am I grading this wrong? Buffalo Trace type-esque flavor profiles aren't really my jam, so I don't quite know how to grade them because I know they're not really my jam, but I'm gonna give it a grade based off of my profile. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, it's just not blowing my socks off, and it's not super complex, and I love complex. But also check out our Patreon, our Instagram, and our Facebook group. We appreciate all your guys' support, but that's it for us. Cheers, y'all. We'll see you later.